Hello.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov. Oh, you are in your daughter's house?
I'm at my daughter's house, yes.
Yeah. All right. How was your Daf?
Very nice.
Where are the others?
Yontif was over late. It was 8:33.
Yes, 8:36 actually.
36, okay.
Oh, maybe they're walking from shul.
A lot of milachiks.
Yeah. It's
For
okay.
me, I could, they would serve a soup, piece of challah soup that's already,
Yes.
it's very rich. A good vach, Alan. A lazer, good vach.
Alan, you're in the dark.
I know I'm outside now. Maybe I'll get a better reception.
Yes, your voice is better
We
now.
hear you. We hear you better today.
Okay, I guess I'll have to go outside now. Okay.
It was cool tonight. It was, when the sun went down here in Beverlywood,
Beautiful.
it was quite cool.
I had 40 people for Mechamar here.
Oh, that's nice.
Maybe 45 people, yeah. All people in the neighborhood came. In the backyard. Okay.
Are you
That's
back
good.
on your home on Las Palmas?
Yeah. Baruch Hashem. Yeah.
Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
I visited with Mr. Englenoff, Abe Englenoff.
Yeah.
How is he?
He's doing okay.
I saw him.
Oh, your voice again.
He was at he went to Braun last Shabbos. He was there. He didn't talk too much. Does he talk at all?
Yeah, he talked to me. He recognized me. He talked to me. Yeah.
Why, he's not well?
He had I think he had a stroke.
Oh.
That's what I gather. Yeah, I gather that. Yeah.
Okay, why don't we start learning? We're on Lamed Vav 36. So
Okay.
the Mishnah said that the Kohen Gadol takes the par bein ha'ulam v'la mizbeach. Just to remind everybody, so this is the ulam, this is the mizbeach, this is the most eastern part of the Azara, and this is Tzafon, this is north. So bein ha'ulam v'la mizbeach is somewhere here, between the ulam and the mizbeach. So man shamis le de Amar bein ha'ulam v'la mizbeach Tzafon. Who is the Mandomer that says that area is considered north? Rabbi Elazar Rab Shimoni, the Tanya. Ezeu Tzafon was considered in the north, Mikir Shel Mizbech Tzoni, from the northern wall, Ad Koisel HaAzara, this is the northern part of the wall, until this is the northern part of the Mizbeach, until the end of the north wall. U'keneged kol Mizbeach kulan Tzafon. Divrei Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. What he says is only this area opposite the Mizbeach is Tzafon. Only this area. Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon Moisif af bein ha'ulam lamizbeach. He adds that not only is this area considered Tzafon, but even this area. So you have this plus this, but not this, which is where the Ezra's Kohanim, because it's not considered nochach HaMizbeach. Rebbe Moisef af makom drisas raglei HaKohanim af makom drisas raglei Yisrael. Rebbe added even this area. So according to Rebbe, all of this area is considered Safon. However, Mina Khalifos Filifnim, from this was an office in part of the Ulam where they kept the knives. That's possible because that's not opposite the Mizbeach. Lema Rab Lezer Rab Shimon Ivelo Rebbe. So maybe our Mishnah is only Rab Lezer and not Rebbe. Where's Afilu Tema Rebbe? The Rebbe, Hash Rab Yosef Rab Yehuda Moisif, Ad Rab Lezer Rab Shimon Loy Moisif. Rebbe adds to both of them. Ananachi Kamir, E Rebbe Nukma Bekula Azara. If it's Rebbe, just say the whole Azara. Elamai Rab Lezer Rab Shimon even Nukma Bein Mizbeach V'la Koisel. Again, the other meaning would have been it's just the neged the mizbeach itself and the wall. So why do it ben ha'olam lamizbeach? Because the kohen gadol is weak. You want to minimize how much the kohen gadol has to walk. But really, Rebbe holds that it's this whole area that is potentially capable of doing this avodah. We just do it ben ha'olam lamizbeach to make it easier for him. We ask him like Rebbe that it's that whole area of the Azor. Then the cow, the Kohen Gadol stood here facing west. The person was here and the cow was in front of him. And they turned the cow's head towards the Kodesh Kadoshim. Rosh Ladoram, the cow stands with his head here. This is going Dorom and this is going Tzafon. So head that way and his back that way. And they turned his head towards the Kodesh Kodosh. So how do you do that? You turn his head like that. Instead of the head being faced, you turn it. The Nukmelade, why not stand the cow east-west with its back towards the Mizbeach? We don't. If the animal starts having a bowel movement, it's going to be right towards the Mizbeach. That's not coveted. Okay. How did the Kohen Gadol do smicha on the korban? Oy made b'tzafon. Again, he has to be in the tzafon area, which we've defined what it is. He cannot be darom, right? If you take a line down the ulam 50%, this way is Doron, this way is Tzafon. So he has to be Tzafon, and he has to face towards the Kodesh Kodosh. He stands to the east of the cow, facing west. He puts his hand between the two horns of the cow. There shouldn't be anything as a chatzitza separating between his hands and the animal. Misvade, and he makes a vidu. What's a vidu? Al chatas. Now, if this is a generic, this is any time you bring a korban. If the korban is a chatas, you bring it on oven chatas. A chatas is brought on any lotas, say, which has kores, that you do b'shogeg. Of course, if you do it b'mezik, there's no korban. It's only if you do it b'shogeg. Al osham of an osham. For example, there is osham gezelos. There's certain types of thefts that you have to bring a korban osham on. You bring a korban osham if you're moyel behegdish. The al oila avon leket shecha upea umaisra on. According to Divrei Rabbi Yossi Aglili, you bring a korban ola for a violation of you didn't give the Meiser Sheni to the Levi, or you didn't give the leket shikha to the almana. Rabbi Kiva Oimer, no. Ein oila ba ela al asay. There's a mitzvah asay to put on tefillin. I don't put on tefillin, I have to bring a korban olah. And, says Rabbi Kiva, alot asay shenitik lasay. There are certain lavim that can be corrected by an asay. For example, gneva. I steal something. If I return the gneva, then that's an asay that corrects the lo tasay. And therefore, not only there's no malchus for that, and there's no punishment bidei adam. However, according to Rabbi Kiva, you have to bring a korban olah. So what's the fundamental machlokas between Rabbi Yossi Aglili and Rabbi Akiva? B'maika miflagi. Rav Yirmiyah, b'delav the nevela kamiflagi. There is a lav that you cannot eat nevela, an animal that was killed without shchita. Rabbi Kiva sovered lav ma'al yehi. Rabbi Kiva says it's a regular lav that you get the malchus for. Rabbi Yossi Aglili sovered no. Lav ma'al yehu. It's not a perfect lav because it says lo sochlu kol nevela. This is in Dvarim Yudam. Lo sochlu kol nevela. Lager asher bisharecha titnena va'achla. What should you do with a nevela? You give it to a ger. We're not talking about a ger tzedek. We're talking about a ger toshav that just keeps the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach. Of course. This sounds like, according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, a lava nitik laseh, that what do you do with the nevela? You give it to a ger. But Rabbi Kiva says nothing doing. If you eat nevela, you get malchus for it. So according to Rabbi Akiva, you would bring an oil for such a nevela, for such a lav. You would not bring it, but according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, you would because it's a lava nitik laseh.
Yeah, how would you say by ger? When it says the pasuk lager you should give it to, it's just an eitz tova. If you don't do it, you don't have to. You lose it. But I mean, you don't have to give it to a ger. What is the?
So according to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, the fact that the Torah said lager asher b'shrecha titnena v'achla, it weakened the lav. The lav is not a full force lav. According to Rabbi Kiva, it is, and you get malchus for it. According to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, you don't get malchus.
So
it's an
so you don't give it if you don't
according
give
to Rabbi Kiva, it's an eitz tova. According to eitz tova, it's according to Rabbi Kiva, it's an eitz tova. According to Yossi Aglili, it turns it into a lava nitik laseh. Abaya Omar.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
okay, man.
Go ahead.
No, but you. It's just that if you stop, you don't give it to a ger. You let it rot or something by itself. So you have to bring a chatos for that. You have to bring
We're not talking about chatas. We're not talking about chatas. We're talking about an ola.
An ola. Yeah, bring an ola because if you don't give it to a ger, it's not good. You don't want to give it to. Let's say you live in a community. There's no Jew. There's no goyim. Let's say there's no goyim in the community. So how can you possibly
According to
give
Rabbi
it?
Akiva, it's a lav ma'alya. It's a regular lav like eating a dam. Or that's you get chorus for that, but it's like lo sachsham shor bedisho.
Right.
It's like any lav, and you get malchus for it. According to Rabbi Yossi Aglili, the fact that the pasuk said lager sheb'shachatitnena, it weakens the lav, and it's like a lav anitik laseh, and therefore you would not get malchus, and you need kapara with an ola. That's what the Gemara wants to say. Perhaps is the machlokes. Abaya Omer, no. The kula ama lav and the vela lav malya. Ain't a chanami. Both Rabbi Yossi Aglili hold like what Elazar said. It's a lav, and it's an eitz tova, but it has nothing to do with the lav itself. It's a different machlokes. The pasuk in Emor by leket shecha upeya, that to leave, when you harvest, you leave gleanings for the aniyim, or you leave the corners. It says, uvekutzrechem es ktsir artzachem, when you harvest. Lo sechaleh pa'asav chalik tzor. Don't destroy the whole payah. V'leket tzircha lo selakeh. Don't pick up that which you drop. Here's the kicker. Le'ani v'lager tazovosam. Ani Hashem Elokecha. Leave it for the ani and the ger. Rabbi Kiva Sover tazov me'ikara mashma. Rabbi Kiva says there's a mitzvah say to leave the leket shechan peah. And if you didn't leave it, you're over on a full mitzvah loisa say, and you get malchus for it. According Rabbi Yosef Glili Sover Hashta Mashma, that if you went ahead and you were over the din of leket, there is you still have a chiyuv to leave it for the aniyin, and therefore it's again a lav anitik laseh. It's not a lav gomor, and therefore you wouldn't get malchus for such a lav. That's what the Gemara said. Okay, Ton Rabbanon. So we're back to the Kohen Gadol. Kohen Gadol has done smicha, now he does vidui. Ketzad misvade. Ovisi, porshati, v'chotasi. In that language. V'chein b'so'ir ha'mishtalechu oimer. We're going to see that there's going to be two goats, and a goyrol a lottery is going to be done on the two goats. One of the goats is going to go lazazel, and it's going to be thrown off a cliff. And one of the goats is going to be offered as a korban, and the blood is going to be brought lifnai v'lifnei, the soyer lashem. But by the sor mishtaleach, it says, the sor that's going to be sent lazazel, it also says v'yizvadeh alav, as called avoinois, right? That's the avisi, b'nei Yisrael. That's called pisheim, the porshati. L'chochatoisam. So the language of avisi, porshati, v'chotasi is by the sor mishtaleach, and here by the par of the Kohen Gadol. That's how the brisa starts. V'chein b'Moshe hu oimer. When Moshe is davening for kapor of Klal Yisrael after the Maisa Egel, it says nosei avon v'afesha v'chata'ah. Again, ovisi, porshati, chotasi. That's different Reb Meir. This part of the Baraisa is Reb Meir. Chachamim oimrim. Chachamim explain to us what these words mean. Avoinois, elu as doinois. An avoin is a chet that you do b'mezid. V'cheinu oimer, he kores hanefesh shahi avono ba. Right? You only get kores if you do something b'mezid. And you see it says avoino. Now, pshoim elu hamerodim. Now, sometimes a person will do an aver b'mezid, but he doesn't really have intent to be moired in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Maybe he has a strong taiva for something, but he's not doing the, and he does it b'mezid, but he's not doing it in rebelling against Hashem. However, sometimes a person does it b'mezid because he's rebelling. Eilu amarodim. V'cheinu oimer melech moyav poshabi. It's a pasuk in Malachim, which refers to a king that is being moired HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'oimer az tifshal livna bo'esahi. And again, it uses the language of pesha. Then l'chochatoisam elu ashkagos. When the Torah uses the word chet, it refers to doing a sin b'shoigeg. V'cheinu oimer nefesh kisechta bishgaga. The proof to what the Gemara just said, that chet means shoigeg, is from this pasuk, nefesh kisechta bishgaga. Freik the chachamim ume'acher sheizvad alas doites v'alam arodi b'choizim izvad ashgagois. When you're confessing, you start from the lowest and you go to the highest. I mean, I confess on the Mazid. Then I confess on Mazid with Merida. Then I go back and confess on the Shoikikim. Says Chacham doesn't make any sense. Elakachaya misvade. Chatasi, which is b'shogeg, avisi b'mezi but not b'merida, uposhati lefanecha ni uvesi. And gentlemen, the Rambam paskins like the Chachamim. And our nusach, if you look in your Machzorim, by the Avoida, the Kachaya Omer, Ono Hashem Chatosi, Avisi Poshati. That's the nusach. Chatosi, Avisi Poshati, the way the Chachamim just explained why it should be. V'chein, the David Omer. And in fact, David in Malachim, where he is misvadeh, says, Chatanu im avosenu, Evinu hirshanu. And hirshanu is like, I became a Rasha through Merida. So here you see, Chatanu avisi hirshanu. V'chein b'shlomo hu omer, Chatanu v'hirshanu umoradnu. V'chein b'Daniel hu omer, Chatanu v'hevinu v'hirshanu umoradnu. So we see the Chachamim bring psukim to support their shita. Freit the Gemara, Elamau Shomer Moshe, Noisei Avon v'Fesha v'Chata. So but Moshe Rabbeinu in the Torah said the Avon Pesha v'Chata. So this is the way the Gemara explains. Avon Moshe of Nekodesh Baruch Hu. Baruch Shalom. B'shash Yisrael choitin l'fanecha voisin tshuva. If Klal Yisrael sin and they do tshuva, aseh lehem zdoinois kishgogois. That with Avon v'Fesha, please treat it only like a chet, which is b'shoiking. It's like a tefillah of a Kodesh Baruch Hu that they should be moichel their Avon and pshos down to being a shogeg. Amar Rabbi Bar Shmuel Amar Rav. Halacha k'divrei chachamim. That the nusach should be chatasi avisi poshati. Freit the Gemara. Why do I need Rav to come and tell me the halacha is like chachamim? Yochid v'rabim, halacha k'rabim. You have a machlokes Rab Meir and a chachamim. Well, there's a general principle in psak halacha. Yochid v'rabim, halacha k'rabim. So Ma'ud is saying mistaber time at Rav Meir. Because maybe you would have thought, Rav Meir had a good svara. And the Messiah like Krod Moshe. Not only that, he brought a pasuk from Moshe Rabbeinu, from the Torah. Kamash Malan, that no, the halacha is not like Rav Meir. Hahu denachas kamei de Rabba. Person went into the shul where Rabba davened as the Bal Tefillah. The Ovad Rav Meir. And on Yom Kippur, he used the lashon avisi poshati chotasi. Omer le shavkas rabban of Avos Rav Meir. Understand? You left the rabban and you're doing like Rav Meir. Omer le Rav Meir svirli kidichsiv b'sefer Raisa de Moshe. I hold like Rav Meir, like it's written mefurish in Sefer Torah Moshe. But the Rambam paskins like the Chacham. Ton Rabbanon. It says in Pasuk in the Achrei Mois, the Kriv Aaron is parachatas asher lo, the chiper ba'ado v'yad beso, and he will atone for himself and his family. B'kaparas dvorim hakosim metaber. This is referring to words of vidui, not zrika sadam. Many times when we study kodshim, we know that kiper refers to Zrika Saddam on the chronos of the Mizbeach. So this price is telling us no. When it says here, the Kriv Aaron is parachatas ashalo v'chiper bado v'yad beiso, the chiper refers to vidui. So ato kapor dvormo, any other kapor is domi. Maybe here it means no, he has to do the blood and harayani dan, and then I would make a whole limud. Nemra kan kapora. The nemer lahalon kapara, because it says by the sa'ir, v'hasa'ir asher Allah alav hagara lazazel, yomad chai, should stand alive, lifnei Hashem lechaper alav. So, ma kapara ha'omer b'sa'ir. There clearly is devorim, because the goat is standing alive, yamod chai. So you haven't shechted that animal yet, so there can't be any domim. So therefore, when it says over there, lechaper alav, ma kapara ha'amura b'sor dvorim, af kapara ha'amura b'par dvorim. That's how the Gemara is learning that this, when it says v'ikriv aron es par achatas, we're talking about the par. This Mishnah is the first korban that the Kohen Gadol does is the oil satami. Then we say he put on his white clothing, and now he's dealing with his personal par, the par for him and his family of Kohanim, or his family. So when it says "Vikriv Aaron es parachatas ashelo v'chiper bado v'ad beso," this Bryce is telling us that kapar doesn't mean zrika sadam; it means vidui dvorim. V'im nafshecha loymar, but maybe you're going to want to say, "Harehu oimer vikriv Aaron es parachatas ashelo v'chiper bado v'ad beso v'adayin lo nishchat apar." The Bryce is basically telling us that it later on in Pasuk it's going to say v'shochat, but at this point when it says v'kriv Aaron es parachatas v'chiper, the animal hasn't been shechted, so it clearly can't be talking about dam. It's got to be talking about dvorim. Period. That's how the Baraisa ends. Freik the Gemara, my v'im nafshecha loymar. Why did you have to ask this v'im nafshecha loymar? If you wanted to ask more, you know what? This pasuk is before shechita. Well, you already brought me a proof from the sa'ir. Ma kapara there refers to clearly vidui because yamod chai, the animal's alive. So here as well, you made a limit. Why did I have to go and give me another proof to say that you hadn't shechted the animal yet? Ma'avim nafshecha loy. Oh, v'chi tema neilaf mi sa'ir hanase bifnim shekaparoso bedami. There's another sa'ir, not the sa'ir that's going to be sent out lazazel, that's alive now. There's another sa'ir that you shechted. And it's going to say over there that there we're talking about dam. And it calls it v'chiper. And over there, oh, it's because maybe you'll say there's another sa'ir that is the one that is, the dam goes lifnai v'lifnim, where the kapara is with blood. So that's why we needed the second reason, right? Because the pasuk is before shechit. Okay. Freik the Gemara. I'm Mario. I'm now teaching Lamed Zayin, which is
Okay,
today's.
hold on a second. One